Adam Christ from MyMMAnews.com, and I am being joined by Greg Pritchett III. I like to call him GP3. You might know him as the Hitman. He is a former WKA kickboxing world champion, and he steps back in the ring once again on May 20th. He is taking on Hurricane Gene Kim. It goes down a Gut Check Championship Series May 20th at the Greater Boys and Girls Club of Bear, Delaware, live and exclusively on Fight Club TV. That is FCLTV.com. Greg Pritchett, it has been a minute since I've seen you in the ring, and I'm excited, man. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. I don't know if excited is the word I'd use for myself, but I am. Yeah, I'm just ready to get back in there, ready to get it done.
I mean, I guess I can understand that slight of different viewpoints. As a
Mhm.
spectator, I'm excited. I'm thrilled to see it. But as the one that's actually getting in the fray of things, it might be a
Yeah.
little nerve wracking. But overall, I'm not going to get into why we took a break. That's irrelevant. That's a thing of the past. But having such a long break and getting in the mix is that a little rough to settle into?
Um, I don't think so. I think it would be if I was, to jump straight into something. If I was to jump straight into like the pros or something like that. Um, I didn't have too many fights before stopping, but I was just around the culture since I was, a child. So as I kind of moved around in it, it kind of even like as I started to not ref but judge some of the shows and go and do camera work, I was just always around it. You know what I mean? I was like in the middle of it. So the only thing that separated me from it, because I was still, while I wasn't competing, I was still training off and on, but like not for a large chunk of time. Like I didn't stop training for a year in total or anything like that. But yeah, so it's kind of, if I were to jump into something harder, like I said for the pros, then I feel like it would be a little more difficult of a transition because I would have to, you know what I mean, do longer rounds, do with an opponent who's super duper experienced, you know what I mean? Um, where with this, because I'm like jumping, it kind of feels like I'm jumping back into where I left off, which wasn't like, it was high level amateurs, but it wasn't like close to pro yet. And since I had been training the whole time, coaching people, you know, I mean, still working on my game, not just, doing nothing, I feel like it's been an easier transition for me to step back in.
And you just segued me absolutely perfect right there. I mean, you pretty much live in the gym. It's your job, it's your way of living. I mean, so that yeah, there might have been a time away from competition, but you've been
Mhm.
in the gym consistently. You've been consistently working. So I'd imagine even with a layoff, there's really not that much of a layoff because you're constantly in there and working.
Yeah, yeah, definitely that. Um, no, yeah, exactly that. Like it's a layoff of, like you said, competition, but uh, um, yeah, I never like even when I stopped, I may for a while stop doing what you call it, like boxing, kickboxing classes. I was there, just lifting, trying to put some muscle on from my teenage 145 days, trying to get a little bit heavier. Um, but even then, I was still active and still coaching. So it wasn't even like, you know, I was just lifting and then I was away from the gym. I lifted in the gym. I coached at the same place that I lifted. So it'd be like I'd get my workouts in, then I'd be coaching the kids, then I'd help coach the adults, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just like my mind's never stopped moving in the idea of martial arts. It's just I just took a break from actively engaging.
Right. Been a lifelong martial artist. It's a way that you make your living. You're entrenched around it. You were bred into it with your father being a former fighter, now a head
Yeah.
coach. Obviously, you're working side by side. So with that lineage so deeply rooted, it makes me curious. And the last I'm going to talk about the layoff, quote unquote. But when did you realize that shit? I kind of want to do this again. Like where was that spark?
It's kind of a funny story because since I wasn't training to compete or anything, I had a lot of free time. I can't say a lot of free time because I'm still working and everything, but and still working out. But um, with the small amount of free time that I did have, I started picking up my other hobbies. You know what I mean? I was hiking, doing things like that. I was kayaking, a lot of outdoor stuff, but also within my home. Well, one, buying a home, that was one big thing because it gave me the freedom to.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, it like having my own space. kind of gave me the push, not push, but like it gave me the comfort of like just living, doing whatever I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I'm finally out on my own. Not really on my own. I got my dogs with me. I got my girlfriend with me, but on my own, like in my own. And
You're making
with
your own
that,
life. You're paving your own way.
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah. So with that, it just like I started picking up, like I said, my other hobbies, and because I was free to kind of put anything into anything I wanted to do, when I was playing in my house, I was set up my PC and everything. And I started getting into gaming a whole lot. And I found myself like before I used to just play because I just wanted to enjoy it, but I found myself getting more competitive. So then I would be playing like the sweatiest of games, playing Apex and Call of Duty, trying to get like high ranks, trying to get, you know what I mean, fight my way up to diamond if I ever could. Uh, uh, but it just became so hard. I noticed the learning curve, and it didn't deter me, but it just like I'm like, dang, dude, I wish I had put this time into it before. Imagine how good I would be. And that spilled over into other games and then doing other games and trying to find these, different ones. And eventually I got to, funnily enough, a fighting game, but it was called Multiverses, is all cartoon characters.
Mm-hmm.
And playing it made me it was like the closest fighting game that I played that was like that gave me it kind of scratched the same itch as doing martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
because learning how to, you know what I mean, there was fakes and evades and, you know what I mean, the timing of attacks and everything, and it started to get me in that headspace and like just again trying to be really really competitive. I even entered a couple of tournaments with it, just trying to get good at the game. And more kept happening where I was like, damn, man, this learning curve is huge, dude. I'm playing guys who have been in this scene forever. And then it was like, you know what scene I've been in forever? Martial arts, fighting. You know what I could do? You know what I have the learning curve on? Martial arts, fighting. Maybe that's just what I want to do. Maybe that's the competition that I'm looking for. And so I was like, all right, well, fuck it. I guess tomorrow I start running. And that was it.
How was that conversation with you and your head coach, also your dad, that it was, hey, by the way, I want to fight again?
It didn't even happen like that. It's funny because he just saw me make the change. So I
Okay.
didn't tell anyone that I was gonna fight again. I wasn't really sure. And even now, like after I get this fight, I don't know if I'll have another long layoff or if I'll be like, you know what I mean? Fuck, put me in another one. But when I made that change, I started running. I was in classes more, so I stopped lifting as much, and I was right back into boxing,
Mm-hmm.
kickboxing, and stuck around on sparring days. And when the sparring days came, I wasn't like just kind of light sparring on the mat. Instead, I was like, all right, who's got fights? Let me train with those guys, get my headgear, and go hard. Um, so he started seeing that and the change that I was making and how much effort I was putting in. And just one day randomly in class, I'm doing jumping jacks, and he looks at me. He's like, you trying to fight again?" And I was like, "Maybe." He's like, "Was it yes or no?" I mean, I'll look for something for you. I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And that's the only conversation we needed.
And knowing your dad, that sounds just like him. You give him an
Yeah,
answer, and it's a yes or a no. There's no
yeah,
two ways. There's no gray area. It's one or the other.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, so we know how long this fire's been burning. So getting back to the process where you feel comfortable in competing, how long was that much of a journey where you decided, okay, I'm going to take this serious to now we're on the cusp of fight night?
Um, I mean, to be fair, I, I guess it wasn't too much of a. I'm sorry. Ask the question again so
I
I can
get,
be
I
sure how
guess,
to
I
answer
guess
this.
in shorter words, when did fight camp officially start? When you made that decision, you know what? Yes, I do want to fight. To you're going hard, you're training hard. To now we're on the verge of fight night. So how long was the training camp where you
Gotcha,
realized
gotcha, gotcha.
I'm back?
Um, when I realize I'm back, I kind of so there's two feelings I get with that. When I feel like I'm back in the sense of like, all right, I'm gonna do this. It it was fairly quick. Like when I made the mindset change until when my dad asked me, it was only maybe a couple weeks. So in that small time, I was like, all right, I think I want to do this. But what really made me feel like, all right, I think I can do this was when I call him my big brother, Zach Kelly, decided he was gonna start competing again too, and he
Yeah.
came up to MPJ to come train with us, and we sparred. And I don't know how he remembers it, but I remember this sparring session, more than I remember any other sparring session. Any other sparring session in that I've ever had, no matter if it was with someone like an elite pro or even someone else in my own training camp. Uh, uh, because he came back, he was like the ultimate test in a sense. Because even when I was young, you know what I mean, I fought at 145. When he first came to our gym, he fought at 190 and then moved down. I think he competed at 165 or
Mhm.
155 when he stopped.
Mhm.
Um, but he never like he only had one gear. You know what I mean? So I'm small, tiny, skinny, and we're the same height, but of course he's got a lot of muscle, a
Yeah.
lot of weight on him, and he would just go hard in training no matter what. And so I feel like that kind of having him around made me like it gave me a different mindset or at least a different tolerance to someone coming at me like super hard in sparring, so that when I fought, it never felt unfamiliar. And no one at my weight class was going to hit as hard as Zach Kelly. You know what I mean? So when he came back, it was like, all right, this is different now. I'm an adult now. You know what I mean? I'm not little Greg anymore. I'm medium Greg. I got a little bit more meat on me. And we went to spar, and it was more of the same. You know what I mean? But I felt the difference in now, like my understanding of the game, because I'm older now. My brain's matured. I can think differently. What you call it? My strength difference where like before even if I hit him with a really good shot, I never really felt like I could move him at all or like make him like even flinch. Like he would get hit and be like, oh, that was good, and then just like piece me up right back. But I felt the difference where when I connected, it was like he connected, I got hurt. I connected, he got hurt. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
was more even.
Uh-huh.
And it just was like, I don't know, man. Moving with him that day, everything, it just felt like I had never seemed more fluid. He was catching me with stuff. I was catching him with stuff. Uh, uh, and like we were going super hard, like getting super tired. And then on the like last 5 seconds of the round, we go. He throws a combination. I kind of block, move off. I throw a jab. I fake a kick and teep him, and then we just kind of like meet in the middle, like Goku and Vegeta just sitting there. And the bell rang, and then we put our hands down, and then I just gave him a hug real quick, dude. It was amazing, and I was like, yeah, I think I made the right choice. I think I'm about this.
Do you think I mean again, you were talking about the gear switch from being little Greg, you say
Mm.
medium Greg. I'm going to say the adult Greg. But
Yeah, yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
do you think it's just that maturation progress, just you being mature now, understanding a little bit about yourself? Like that's just been maybe that maybe missing piece of the puzzle, that confidence builder that
Oh
maybe
yeah,
wasn't there before.
yeah, absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
that's the most evident in how I'm kind of treating it this time going in. Before, like, I don't know, it's just like the second, which did still happen, but the second I would find out that I had a fight, like, I knew my name would got put in. But the second, they tell you, okay, you're matched up, my heart would just sink instantly. You know what I mean? I could be having the best time, like, oh man, I just, you know what I mean? Freaking, it could be playing video games or like my birthday. You know what I mean? Just had this nice party. All my friends are over. All my family's here.
Mhm.
Such a nice time. But oh, you got an opponent, and my whole world would just change. So that did actually happen again. My original opponent, but because I was supposed to fight in South Carolina, but that got messed up. So then we have this one now. But yeah, I was in my living room. My girlfriend's parents were visiting for the week. We're having a good time, joking, playing with the dogs, all types of stuff. And I walked to the kitchen, and my dad, sent me the text. All right, we got an opponent for you. You matched in. Here's who you're fighting. And I just like I looked at it, and it was like that like that pull away but zoom effect. That's what happened. I was just like, my whole world just shrank for a second. But then as I started getting comfortable, as I kept training, as I, you know what I mean, I was doing like been running 2 or 3 times a week, doing plyometric workouts, still lifting, but just for strength, not for building muscle, but just like staying strong with it. Put my work in at the gym, sparring. I've been traveling we went to Rami's for one weekend. I've been going down to Algio's MMA a couple, like every other weekend, sparring those guys. And then even Zach invited me down to Gracie to come train with them. Like, it was just every time I went somewhere new, I'd be fighting or sparring these like fresh faces that I've never faced before, and I could just feel the difference from when I was a kid, and even when I had that confidence. You know what I mean? I won nationals 2 years in a row, won the worlds. I knew I wasn't a slouch, but it's like completely different. Like you said, that maturity of just
Yeah.
like I ain't tiny Greg anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's adult Greg. I got adult muscles now. We're gonna do something. But yeah, it's crazy like seeing the difference just in a couple years. Like even just like I'm 27 now, so even just like 3 years ago, the
Yeah.
difference between that and now, like not only just through how I'm thinking, but just how I can move, the my output and everything. Everything's just coming together a little differently. I couldn't yeah, I don't want to ramble too much, but yeah,
No,
it's just coming together.
it seems like you found the excitement in fighting again.
A little bit, yeah. I think it's not so much that I hate fighting. I don't like it. I
You
hated it when I
sound
was
pretty
young.
excited of
I hate it
all
now.
these trips you're taking.
It's just it's just martial arts, man.
Yeah.
I just love martial arts.
Yeah.
I just love I have to think faster than this guy. I have to. I mean, if he counters me, if I do one of my moves that always lands and he makes me miss, or like I hit him, but he finds a counter for it right after that. Like it, it's so fun to then go, okay, how do I get around that? He caught me with this. How do I make sure he doesn't? Oh, he's got this. All right, cool. Then I got something for that. I'm a, you know what I mean? I'm gonna develop something specifically for this counter because I've never seen it before, but now I'm gonna do it. And
Mhm.
it's just like it helps me build this repertoire that like you know what I mean? It makes me a better teacher. It makes me a better fighter, just a better martial artist overall. And I think that's what it is. I just love martial arts.
Yeah. Well, the martial arts are going to be on full display, and Hurricane Gene Kim is the man that it's going to be on display against. So, can I just get your take on what you think about Gene Kim as an opponent?
Um, Honestly, I don't know too much about him. I know he trains, I think TKO, is that the place that he trains at?
He trains with Ryan Cafaro. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they've got some really good guys. I love watching a lot of their fighters. I know what's his name? He's got the ponytail. I literally follow him on Instagram. I can't remember his name, but love watching some of their fighters fight. Some of the most exciting fights that have been on Gut Check. I actually announced one of Gene's fights when he fought Nate Mall. And I know he lost that fight. I've been studying it a lot too. But uh, uh, as far as his skill set, I know he's got less experience than me. I don't want to underestimate him, of course. I don't think he's a slouch at all. He puts in the work. Even in that fight, he was doing good. First couple rounds, it was the last round he started to taper off. Um, but yeah, I just I'm grateful for him because he accepted the fight like quickly. He actually, when he found out it was happening or that my name was in there, he sought my dad out to ask him if he could fight me, and I'm like, damn, that's cool. You know what I
That's got to
mean?
feel good. It's almost an honor, right? Like, wow,
Yeah,
he
literally. No,
wants to
he
fight
can't.
me.
Yeah, he said that afterwards. He was like, "Yeah, man, I hear that you're really good, and I really want to fight people that are better than me so I can improve." And I was like, hey, thank you. I don't think I'm that good, but I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like that's lit. He's probably one of the most respectful fighters that
Yeah.
I've ever like, or one of the most respectful opponents that I've ever had.
Well, I was talking with Gene when I interviewed him, so I was gonna say don't let it fool you a little too much because he's extremely respectful outside of the ring. I announced one of his fights before, and he was
Mm.
taunting his opponent inside the ring the entire
Hey, it'd
time.
be like
So
that.
it'd
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like that sometimes.
I was about
But
to say, yeah, that's just what I mean. Even I'm as respectful as I can be everywhere I
yeah,
go. I have no enemies. But even when we get into sparring and everything, like It could be my homies that I'm sparring, you know what I mean, in the gym, my other teammates, but we talk shit sometimes, you know what I mean? It just happens.
It does. So when I did interview Gene or Hurricane Gene Kim, I asked for a bold prediction. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
do the same for you. I want to ask for your prediction. And then since I got the chance to talk with him beforehand, I'll tell you what he had to say.
I got you. I don't want to make any predictions. I don't think, you know what I mean? Like I said, he's not a slouch. He's not a guy who's taking off for training or doing anything less just because he has less experience than me. Actually, the one fight that I lost, I think that guy had Jelani. I think he had less fights than me at the time. So that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? It's just two guys going in to show their skill set. But yeah, I just want to do as best as I can. That's it.
I love it. Well, his response was he believes with having the promoter's son as an opponent, he feels like he needs to stop you. He doesn't know when he thinks he can get it done, but he feels that he needs to get the stoppage. So, I mean, it's going to be a great matchup. I cannot wait for this fight. I like Gene. He's a great guy outside of the ring, great photographer as well. Obviously, you know how I feel about you and your family. You guys have done so much for me in the fight community. So, I mean, I'm just thoroughly excited to see you back. So I appreciate you taking the time, Greg. I can't wait to make this announcement. I get to announce a Greg Pritchett fight. So I'm pumped. I don't know about you, but we'll see how it goes down. But
Hey,
Greg, man, I appreciate you taking the time. I really do.
Hey, it's no problem, man. Anytime.
There he goes. Greg, the Hitman Pritchett. He is back in the ring once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's going down May 20th at the Greater Boys and Girls Club of Bear, Delaware. You can check it out live exclusively on Fight Club Live TV. That is fcltv.com, or there's few tickets left. So I don't know what you're waiting for, but make sure you get your tickets, get them from Greg yourself, but get to a Gut Check Championship Series. We'll see you there.